Hey, cousins. So, word on the street is Liv Morgan's gonna need surgery for the shoulder. Like she must have took it all the way out the socket, which sucks because Liv Morgan was gonna be real busy in these upcoming pay-per-views. She was supposed to get with Io Sky. We was building up to that, and she was supposed to get with Nikki Bella. We was building up to that. She is currently one half of the women's tag team championships with Raquel Rodriguez, who wore all red outfit. Loved the outfit, but damn, what happened to Raquel Rodriguez? So what are we talking about? Retrospect. These tag titles. We're gonna go through the history, have a little throwback talk, and then I think it's time to put the curse to rest. It's time to lay the tag team titles at the foot, at the foot of the other titles, the hardcore, the European, the cruiserweights, the diva championships. Um, just put it to the foot. Put it at the foot. Throw some flowers on it, a little salt. Put some borax around it, and just call it a day. Don't nobody even gotta know. It'll be in the history books, and we leave it like the women's UK title, right? NXT UK title. Get rid of that. Just leave it. Ain't no big deal, right? It all started with the Boss and Hug connection. Sasha and Bailey, they went to the foot of Vince McMahon. They said, please, Vince McMahon, please let us have a tag team women's division because we ain't really doing much. You know, we got the two title belts, but ain't nothing really happening because you keep giving them to the same motherfucking host. And Vince McMahon was like, no, I don't care for tag team wrestling as it is, and I definitely don't want to see you bitches in there wrestling. So, get out my face. Bailey and Sasha, according to legend, to the lore, then threw a temper tantrum, were laying on the floor and kicking and screaming like two children. That's what they had said. That's what they said. And Vince McMahon was like, fine. You get your damn tag team championships and we'll move on. Their tag team matches consisted of Elimination Chamber. Um, the Boston Hug Connection defeated Nia Jax and Tamina down to the premium live event Fastlane. And then we had the women's tag team fatal four way, the Iconics, Beth Phoenix and Natalya, Nia Jax and Tamina, the Boston Hug Connection. Okay. And this is where we got the title change. This is where it went to the Iconics, right? And that was the end of the Boston Hug Connection. And that's pretty much where it went downhill. Now, I'm going to say something about Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. They weren't as bad as y'all made it. They were entertaining and they did the best they could with them titles. Vince McMahon didn't see it for them titles. So, they were pretty much a joke. They were pretty much a joke, but you got your matches. What matches? The defending, we had 5 defenses, starting with, what's this, July? No, starting with May. Let's start with May. Jump around, I guess. Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Mandy and Sonya, the Iconics, the Kabuki Warriors, down to the Monday Night Raw. Okay. Then we had the Kabuki Warriors. They defeated the Iconics on a SmackDown. Then we had the Iconics defeat Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross on a Monday Night Raw. Then we had the Iconics defeat the Brooklyn Bells that we never heard of. Just some hoes they found. Carissa and Kristen down onto the SmackDown. And then we had WrestleMania 35. Okay. And that was the Fatal 4-Way Iconics, the Beth Phoenix, Natalya, Nia Jax, Boston Hug Connection, and they won. Okay. And they lost the title down to the Monday Night Raw. That was the last time for Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. Okay. And, moving right along. What happened to the Iconics since holding those ill-fated titles? They gone. They gone. Peyton Royce wanted to give it a shout out, give her shot to being an individual. Billie Kay had something good going. She was running back there with her resume, and it just didn't work out. The ladies will let go. And then you had the Yes Boys, who essentially was doing Billie Kay shtick, except they wanted to have a Yes Boys play. And nothing has come of it because where's the Yes Boys? I just figured I'd throw that out there. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. They held the title for 62 days. Boss and Her Connection held the title for 49 days. Fun fact. Peyton Ross and Billie Kay, the Iconics, held the title for 120 days. Okay. And they end up dropping the titles to the Kabuki Warriors. The Kabuki Warriors. And the Kabukis held the title for 171 days. And what happened since? Well, Asuka blew her knee out. Kairi Sane blowing out the girls. They ended up getting into the Damage Control, that ill-fated stable, right? Yeah. Nikki Cross is now with the High School Musical Quartet of the Y6, and Alexa Bliss, old in the face, is still wearing ponytails and skipping around with a doll. And we don't know why, because she don't fucking talk to tell us why. We don't know Alexa Bliss's plight. We don't know shit. Ain't that interesting? Then we had Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross again take it from the Kabuki Warriors, and they held it for another 62 days, bringing their overall title run so far to 124 days. So they kind of are number 2 with the Kabuki Warriors. They spent their days drinking coffee. Nikki Cross was obsessing over Alexa Bliss, looking weird and wet and real short. Nothing really came of that. Nothing really came of those 62 days. There was nothing for them to do because there was no tag team division. And then they end up losing their titles back to the Boss and Her Connection, who proceeded to hold it 96 days. We are now in the COVID era. The COVID era. So that era, we had the Kabuki Warriors, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Bayley, and Sasha, who then dropped it to Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Remember Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler? They was mixing it up and held it for 112 days. Excuse me, 112 days. And then Asuka and Charlotte Flair, they got it. They got it during the COVID era. And their matches include 3 matches. 3 matches. Charlotte Flair, Asuka beat Nia and Shayna. And then Asuka and Charlotte versus Bayley and Carmella and Bianca and Sasha Banks. Look at that. And they went on ahead and kept those titles, right? And then we had Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defeat Asuka and Charlotte Flair, and that is where you got the title change. And they held those titles for 42 days. 42 days. Then we went right back to Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, and they only had it for 2 days. 2 days. 2 days because Natalya and Tamina took it and held it for 129 days from May 14, 2021 to September 20th, 2021. Who knew? Did you remember that? Tamina gone. And Natalya has so much plastic surgery that her mouth looks like a cat's mouth. Now she is in a tag team with Maxine Dupree called the Dungeon Daughters. Is it Dungeon Daughters or the Dungeon Sisters? Something like that. Dungeon Dolls. Dungeon Dolls. Dungeon Dolls. Natalya and Tamina went ahead and dropped that after they got it from Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, and they held it for 129 days. And then that went to Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley. Enter Rhea Ripley. When ain't nobody really was paying attention to her, that's when she wore pants. She wore pants, and y'all really wasn't looking at her. She didn't become Mother Leather until years later. They held it for 63 days. And then Carmella and Queen Zelina came in the picture. And they held it for 132 days. They held it for 132 days. And that consisted of how many matches? 3 matches. 3 matches. They got the title and dropped the title at the same time to guess who? Who they dropped them titles to? Naomi and Sasha Banks. Enter, enter, enter where the curse took hold. The curse took hold at this point. On May 20th, 2022, Naomi Sasha Banks held it for 47 days, and the trajectory for these two ladies was nothing short of I'm going to bet on me. Fuck what y'all got going on. Sasha Banks left. She is now in AEW with belts that I don't even know half of what they are. CEO, one of the highest paid, the only highest paid professional women's wrestler. Naomi got the money in the bank, left. Before all of that, went over to TNA and had a championship run. Doing things you would never see Naomi do in the WWE. Got that stock up. They said the reason why TNA is even mixing it up is partly because of Naomi's. She had a little hand in that, right? Yeah. That's when they said at the commentary, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, and said that Sasha and Naomi were just unprofessional, didn't care about the wrestling universe, the pro wrestling WWE universe, and they just stomped out and vacated titles. Those titles went vacant for 101 days. August 29th, 2022. And guess who picked those titles up? Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez. And they held them for 14 days. Aaliyah gone. Raquel's kind of moving and grooving, not really having no direction. Enter Damage Control. They held those titles for 49 days. Damage Control tag team consists of Dakota Kai, Io Sky. We know what happened to Dakota Kai. Old glass knees. Old Fabergé egg ass Dakota Kai. Yeah, she couldn't hold it together. Io Sky right now is our champion, and she don't do shit. And everybody's really upset about that. And then on, October 31st, 2022, Alexa Bliss and Asuka held the title for 5 days. 5 days. Ain't shit going on with these titles. And then Damage Control came back in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and got those titles back on May 11th, 2022. Dakota Kai and Io Sky. And they held those titles for 114 days. Enter Becky Lynch and Lita, because we had to have something for the Lita to do. Something had to happen. Becky and Lita had how many matches? 2 matches. 2 matches. They defeated Damage Control down to the Monday Night Raw. And then they lost to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez down to the Seattle. Okay. And then it went vacant. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez held the titles for 39 days. And then it went vacant. It went vacant from May 19th to May 29th for 10 days. Not really sure. I don't know why it was vacant. But Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler said, we're going to get it and we're going to make these titles matter. They went out there and didn't do shit with them titles for 33 days. Didn't do shit with them titles for 33 days because they was mixed up with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. They defended the titles 3 times. 3 times. And here is a pivotal moment. On June 23rd, 2023, the unification, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler unified the women's NXT tag team champions by defeating Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn. To this day, I do not know why they took those tag team titles from NXT and unified them to these defunct ass titles we call the women's tag team titles. They're tag teams in NXT. You said that the women's tag team holders were going to circumvent all 3 brands. None of that happened. None of it happened. It was a lie. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler held it for 33 days. And then Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez came in and took those titles on January 7th, 2023. And they held them for 16 days. And then they dropped them to Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville and they held them for 28 days. And then they held them and dropped them down to the Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, who held them for 126 days. And that was 3 defenses in 126 days. And this is where Kaden Carter and Katana Chance had their time with the ill-fated tag team champions. They held tag team championships. They held them for 39 days and entered the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. Good old Kairi Sane. They had the titles for 99 days, taking them off of Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. And then we got the powerhouses. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill held the title first for 42 days, and Paul Leatherskate decided that because we're in Glasgow, Scotland, let's go ahead and fuck up the thing and give it to Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn. Everybody's fucking confused. Only for them to hold it for 77 days, and at the next pay-per-view in Deutschland, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill got those titles back in December. In March. No, excuse me, in August. I'm sorry, August 31st. And they held it for 104 days. And then Naomi put Jade Cargill down to the windshield. Bianca Belair and Naomi held those titles for 73 days, and they ended up losing them to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, who held them for 55 days. And then Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria held them for 1 day. And then Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez got him again. And here we are today, 59 days in. Liv Morgan is on the shelf. Raquel Rodriguez is wayward. So word on the street is what they're going to do to further the Judgment Day story is have Roxanne Perez pull a Naomi. She's going to step in and say, hey, you can't relinquish them titles, so how about I help you out? And then them two are going to get together and continue on with these titles. Roxanne actually has the opportunity to pull a Kofi Kingston. What do I mean? Remember that run Kofi Kingston had, Kofi Mania? That belonged to Mustafa Ali, right? So now Liv Morgan's down. Roxanne can come in and capitalize and get that match with Nikki Bella down to the Evolution. And what would the storyline look like when finally Liv Morgan comes back? Probably, I don't know, next year. She can run the play a la Bianca, Naomi, and Jade Cargill. Oh, you gonna give this bitch after what happened to me, and you know I don't fuck with her like that? What's going on? I guarantee you that's what's gonna do. That's my prediction. That's word on the street, and I think that's what's gonna happen. Overall, if you made this far, go ahead and let's go ahead and put these titles to rest. They are cursed. They serve no purpose. And we need to get these women doing something else outside of being in thrown together tag team title matches and nothing happened. Out of all these tag teams, there were actually, I can honestly say, Boss and Her Connection was one. The Unholy Union, yes, because they were NXT, they were actually a tag team, was 2, right? Damage Control, I'm not going to consider because they was interchangeable, so I'm not fucking with them like that. Kaden Carter, Katana Chance were 3. And I think those 3 were actual cohesive, real tag teams. That was your actual division, was those 3 tag teams, and they're all gone. Gone away and done. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments if you made this far, and I'll catch you on the next one.